Well, at least I know it. How about that?
Page 35 from Friday.
This is not
Why would you move your hands up?
Okay,
last time I saw it.
do you guys recall how completing the square went on Friday? I did a couple of them. We want the constant to be on the other side, so how do I get rid of it? Minus it over. So subtract it over. Okay, then I'm leaving a blank right here. Do you guys remember the kind of the key step?
The
B value
2 squared.
divided by 2 squared. So, whoops. So it's 3 squared, which is 9. You're going to be adding that to both sides. Alright, the reason that we do that is because now this left side is a perfect square, factors perfectly. Because what multiplies into 9, that adds up to 6. What multiplies? 3 and 3.
Yeah.
So it's x plus 3, or x plus 3 squared. Okay, what did we do at this point? Square root. We want to get rid of the square, so the opposite of a square is a square root. Alright, this is a little bit different than the other two. What's going to go right here? I. However, the I is right, but there's something still a little bit wrong. No, that canceled out with the square, so it's just gone.
Do we need a
Plus or minus?
We need a plus or minus.
booyah? Shoo-bam.
No, never speak again. Bro.
Your speaking rights have been revoked. Cannot speak in public. Alright, cool. So we need a minus of 3 over to solve for x. Do those mix?
No.
Definitely not. And put the real number in front, so it's negative 3 plus or minus I.
Who's your favorite student in the Algebra 2 class?
Not you.
I'm not in the Algebra 2 class.
You were once.
Okay.
I've got, I don't know.
Say Fiona.
I guess Skylar.
Gianna is like his least
No,
favorite.
I want to be Skylar.
Yes. He's always talking about
Nice
me.
job mixing algebra too.
No, you don't.
She is fun to make fun of.
Doesn't mean he likes her.
Skylar's fun.
What about Whitney?
What about her?
Whoa!
I don't think that.
That's crazy.
I wasn't at this.
Do you miss Shannon?
Yeah. I've seen her like 3 times.
Before this year, but.
Yeah. After school.
George Square. Wow. Good.
Works in half.
Oh, no, she quit.
No.
If she went, I would be working there.
I swear.
Or if I quit, she'd quit. But-
Yeah, she quit.
Is this a
No,
Why
W?
with the Y?
W?
What?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm saying.
Do you guys recall the quadratic formula? What's quadratic formula?
Is that the negative
What?
equals to
Yeah, I
square
agree.
root
That's
square
what I got.
is square root of
Shh,
y?
girls. Oh, I thought you're still talking.
Is that the
Over 2.
Okay. If you do not have that memorized, you probably should write it down on the top of your page. You will need to know it for the test.
When's the test? Oh, Friday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
Or-
Wait, tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
What?
Forrest, he laughed.
No.
He laughed, but he wasn't joking.
Okay.
We're all skipping today.
Bro.
This is not very.
All right, number 11.
Week 2.
Have you done your own science review?
Okay, so you guys remember how this goes? What is my A, B, and C?
5, 2.
5, 2, -1. Okay, so negative b is going to be negative 2 b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Remember, you can do this on a calculator, but you remember there's a plus and a minus right there, so
It cancel it out on the calculator. How can you do plus and minus?
you can't do it all at once. No, you gotta do it one at a time.
Mr. Jordan,
Hmm?
do we have to finish the hard work if we're doing a calculator?
Just write this part down, it's enough. Okay, so without a calculator, a lot of calculators wouldn't do this one because it's 4 minus 20, which is what? Negative 16. So if your calculator doesn't handle imaginary, what is this? What is square root of negative 16?
B?
Something with a 4.
4i. So it's negative 2 plus or minus 4i. Okay, normally we would just write it all over 10, but because there's an imaginary number, I'm going to put it separated. Put them both over 10. Reduce. Both of these are divisible by 2.
Why did you put that?
Okay, guess how many is it?
Oh, is that just easy?
Yep.
Let's go.
24.
Oh no,
So close.
I got it wrong.
Uh-oh.
Did I copy it wrong?
This looks pretty right.
Oh, C is negative 1. No.
Gosh.
Okay, my dad lasted 24 years ago.
Okay.
Oh.
So this should have been positive 24.
And honestly,
Agree with you, Russ.
Darn.
I don't know how they say it.
Okay, I screwed that one up. Okay, I got it wrong because C was negative 1, not positive 1. So, square root of 24 is 4 and 6. Shush. So it's 2 square root of 6 over 10. Now, is there anything we can do with this? Yeah, because all three of these terms are divisible by 2, you can go ahead and divide them all by 2. 2 square root of 6 divided by 2 is just 1 square root of 6. So it's just square root of 6. Now, because it's not imaginary, you don't really need to split that one.
Is that the answer?
Yes. The correct answer.
Whoa, why was that nasty? Why are you brat?
Chad,
Why are
this is
you
not
back?
skibidi, Chad.
Why are you
Why
right?
you-
Oh, wait, we had to do
What?
plus or
Why you
minus. I
fall?
did plus and minus, bro.
What is it for?
Why are you
Like,
angry?
Girls.
Okay.
Luke thinks you guys are normal people.
What?
What?
Luke's already mad.
You're giving Luke a ugly awakening. Okay, 13.
You're the ugly awakening.
Wow.
Did you hear that?
Hit her with that thing.
What? Hit her with the yards.
What are they talking about?
I don't know.
That's not signal.
Actually, last night I was watching it as well, so you should say that.
Can you recognize the famous quote?
Yeah, it's been out.
Yeah, that's the Blake Lively.
Okay,
Blake Lively is so hot.
Uh,
It's so hot.
Grant, what's the A, B, and C on this one?
3, 12, negative 15. Wait, no, that's wrong. My bad. It's negative 12 and
Right. These are not on the same side as this, so you kind of have to fix it. So you subtract the 12t to move it over and add the 15. So it's 3t squared minus 12t plus 15 equals 0. So it's 3, negative 12, and positive 15. Alright, so negative b. Yeah, to show your work, I just need this square root stuff over here. So negative b is negative 12. So that's a positive 12.
Positive.
Okay, remember when you do b squared? Why would this be wrong for b squared?
Because we cancel stuff out.
Cause you need the parentheses.
Right, because you want to square the negative, so that needs to be, this should come out as positive 144, not negative. And if you don't put parentheses, it'll be wrong. So minus 4 times a times c over 2 times a. All right, let's see, what is that? 150, 180, 144 minus 180, negative 36. I'm gonna make sure I got that right before we go on this time. Yep, that's right. All right. What is the square root of negative 36? 6i. So this is 12 over 6 plus or minus 6i over 6. You guys see where I got the 6 on the bottom?
Aren't they all gonna be I?
Well, the last one wasn't.
Yeah, but like
For the evens, 2 of them aren't.
oh, so everything else is like perfectly fine with that
Well, it's like square root answer still.
one.
Okay, this reduces 12 divided by 6 is 2. 6 divided by 6 is 1i. So 2 plus or minus I. Okay.
What are we getting to?
I was thinking maybe 20.
20? Are we doing 3 days?
Yeah, well, we only spent like half a day on that. But yeah, I think so. It gets kind of challenging.
So we're only going to 20?
Right,
Today.
Maybe,
32.
yeah, it starts getting challenging at 21. 19 is kind of challenging too. All right. Okay, this does not even look like a quadratic equation, right? Doesn't even look like you can use the quadratic formula. There's 2 ways. Anybody have an idea how we could solve this? Not quite, no.
Oh, you could, you could,
Common denominator. You could.
Like multiply b
like,
Yeah.
Okay, there's 2 ways to think about this. If it's just 2 equal fractions like this, how do we usually solve that? You guys remember?
It's common
Okay,
denominator.
you could cross multiply. Okay, the other thing that you could do, which kind of works out to the same on this one, is you can multiply by the common denominator. What do v and v minus 4 both go into? Well, v minus 4. V does not go into v minus 4. You got to think of this as different values, so they don't go into each other. So you could multiply both sides by v minus 4, because when you do that, that would cancel out the denominator. Remember that? So the left side is 4 times v minus 4, which is like cross multiplying, equals v times v minus 6.
And we're just simplifying it.
Okay, well, we're supposed to be using quadratic formula, so we need to simplify this, get it into a quadratic form, so we can use the quadratic formula. So distribute the 4, distribute the v times v, so it is a quadratic equation. Now what do we do though?
everything on one.
Right, everything to one side. You can move it to the left, but since v squared is positive on the right, that's slightly easier, yeah. it doesn't really matter. Okay. Actually, that would be pretty easy to factor, but they told us to use quadratic formula. Okay, just one small note here. There's two values for v that can't, even if we get an answer, it won't actually work. V cannot equal 4 or 0. Why not? Because it is illegal to divide by 0. So if we get an answer of 4 or 0, we would throw it out. Okay. Quadratic formula. Negative b is negative 10. So positive 10 plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c. Yeah. Well, wait till you get towards the end of this assignment. Okay, this would be 100 minus 64, which is 36. What's the square root of 36? 6. So it's 10 plus 6 divided by 2, and 10 minus 6 divided by 2. Okay. Do either of those answers screw up the original denominators? No. No. So they're both okay. So 8 and 2. That was 15. 17. Okay, this one says solve by whatever method you want. So, mostly, if you're not good at factoring, you probably want to mostly do quadratic formula. Although on 19 and 20, definitely the completing the square method would work, but that's probably the only ones that would be useful for. Anyway, 8x squared so what I would do is get into standard form first. I'm going to bring everything to the left here. So I got 8x squared plus 10x minus 7. Then I'd probably think about, does this factor? Probably does, but if you can't tell, if you're really good at factoring, you could try this one. But if you can't tell whether it factors, you can just do quadratic formula. I think I might try to factor it. Let's see, 7 and 2 is 14. 4, yeah. So this one does factor. It's 8x and 2x, and then 7 and minus 1. Okay, so I can tell this works because it's the inside's 14x, the outside's minus 4x, and that equals 10x. Like I said, if you're better at quadratic formula, you can do that. Do you guys remember from Friday what the two answers would be here? What values of x make this equal 0? Yeah. Yes.
She's probably fat. Bruh.
Hey, Issa, let's get our feet reclining is a little too much. Okay. This is the only problem I would use completing the square on, because it's just inefficient normally. I can, because the whole left side is squared, you kind of just want to get rid of that square. So, and this, it's kind of like halfway through completing the square. What do we do at this point? Square root. So number 20, this is probably the easiest way to do number 20. So on the left side, the square and the square root cancel out, so it's just 3x minus 2. What's going to be on the right side?
11.
Plus or minus 11, yeah. So we're going to be adding 2 and dividing by 3. Okay. I can't leave it like, this simplifies, so I'm not going to leave it like that. So it's 11 plus 2, 13, divided by 3, so it's 13/3. And it's negative 11 plus 2, which is negative 9, divided by 3, negative 3.
If it has an I in it, like, can we like add on to that, or do we just?
If it has an I, it wouldn't mix. So if this was like, did you get an I on 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 does have an I. So if this had been like 2I, the answer would have been,
You fatty, you just as we whole chair together.
so just split up, both of those are divided by 3. Like this Jersey property. All right, I want you guys to try those evens.
Girl.
We'll finish it tomorrow. Through 20, try to get through 20 today, and then we'll go to 32 tomorrow.